Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. We have been dealing with Kanda Chapu Thalam 5-beat cycle, and I have taught you Dinkitta Takadinna sequence, how to adapt from Adi Thalam to Rupaka Thalam and making a comparison from Rupakam and Kanda Chapu. Removing a beat, a vowel, Din, Dinkitta Taka, Din, Dhinna, you just remove towards the end one, then it fits into the 2.5 beat, and we saw how to traditionally go about it. And also the Thirmanam, what you are supposed to play for each of the families. I gave you homework and I reviewed many of you have understood it well. And few of you still have doubts. I will have a one-on-one with you and explain, and I will ensure that you understand it clearly. I'm going to proceed with subsequent sequences, adaptations. It's going to be fairly easier. I'm going to cover sequence 2 and sequence 3 in one class. It's very simple. We're going to take both, and I'll explain you the subtler parts into both the sequences and how it's getting adapted from Rupaka Thalam. Before that, I'll start with the Thirukkural as usual. Thiginal sutta pun ullarum arade navinal suttavade. Let's look at the meaning of it. Thiginal sudapatta pun puratte vadu irundalum ulle arividum. ஆனால் நாவினால் சுட்ட வடுவானது ஒருபோதும் மறையாது. What does Thiruvallur say? A person who is hurt by the fire, and even there is a scar or a mole on his hand because of that injury, the pain is not there because it's gone. It will vanish over the period of time. But whereas a person who is hurt by abusive language, it stays permanently. Isn't it true? Like so many times people always talk about, hey, he has talked so ill about me, it's hurting me so much. Because that is the emotive aspect of using an abusive language. So everybody uses this. I think it's very common. All we need to ensure is understand that it's a mistake and we need to correct ourselves first. Self-correction is important more than preaching somebody. I remember Gandhiji's story here. Gandhiji, a child was brought to Gandhiji and a mother wanted to give him advice that he should not take chocolates. He's taking too many chocolates. What Gandhiji told was, he said, come after 2 weeks. I will advise him. Mother didn't understand why did he respond like that. After 2 weeks, she persistently went and approached Gandhiji. Gandhiji, it's 2 weeks now. I want you to advise my son. He said, yes, you should not have sweets going forward because I was like you, having sweets. I'm very fond of sweets. And last 2 weeks I've reduced myself and I find the benefit out of it. And I'm telling you, you should not take it now. And that should be the way. Everybody should preach before they practice. They should practice before they preach. Ensure that they are completely correct and self-disciplined. Only then they should give the advice to others. Isn't it important? So with this good note, I will get into the class. The next two sequences at the outset is Dhimi Dhimi Thaka Dhimi Dhimi Thaka is Rupaka Thalam. Taka Dhimi Tatha Dhimi is Rupaka Thalam again. So you're going to convert it to Kanda Chapu Thalam. How do we do it? Let's look at it, how a 6-beat in a granular and a microscopic way. Dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, dhimi, taka. 6 syllables are there. dhimi, dhimi, thaka, dhimi, dhimi, thaka. So it's a combination of dhimi, dhimi. How it's combined? From Adi Thalam is Taka, Dhimi, Dhimi, Taka, 4. We added Dhimi, Dhimi together. In the prefixed it before Adi Thalam, it became a 6-syllabled phrase. So from Adi Thalam, we converted to Rupaka Thalam. So the Rupaka Thalam then became Dhimi, Dhimi, Taka, Dhimi, Dhimi, Taka. Now, the second part, Taka, Dhimi, Dhimi, Taka, you remove one Dhimi, Taka, Dhimi, Taka. So the 4 becomes 3. Let's see. Dhimi, dhimi, thaka, dhimi, thaka. One dhimi is unplugged from the dhimi, dhimi, thaka, dhimi, dhimi, thaka, and then you get into the 5-beat syllabled cycle. Dhimi, dhimi, thaka, dhimi, thaka. Dhimi, dhimi, thaka, dhimi, dhimi, thaka. That is Rupaka Thalam, thaka, dhimi, dhimi, thaka, Adi Thalam. So you need to always compare. When you're learning, you should be relational. You cannot learn silos. When you're learning Kanda Chapu, you have to see how this is related, how the mapping is done, connecting the dots. If you do the connecting the dots all the time, you will learn. You will learn nuances out of it. And if you look at Mr. Chapu Thalam, it's a 3 and a 4 combination. So it's a Rupaka Thalam and Adi Thalam combination. 3 beats, 4 beats. 4 is 8, 3 is 6. So you need to relate. When you relate, you will understand the math out of it. That's why my whole episode is called Music and Mathematics. So when I say music, there is maths involved inherently behind it. So you have to understand these nuances. Having said that, let's see how this phrase fits into a 2.5 beat cycle. Dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka. Dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka. Dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka. It is the Madhyama Galam phase. It is perfectly dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka. Dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka. When the singer goes with devotion, with his chaplakatai, he goes in this format. Dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka. It's easier to tell. But when you go in the understand the technical part of it, how it comes, dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka. I am telling this Madhyama Kalam in the Kanda Jati Ekathalam, which is again 5 beats. But if I have to look at it with a microscopic way, in a granular way, dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka. That's how it is split. In a big, when you look at through the microscope, this is the phrase which gets concised into this 2.5 beat cycle. So you have to understand that first. So I'm taking more time because it establishes a base. Once when you know the base, and you can build castles out of, have so many ideas you can play on yourself. That's why I'm spending more time here. So let's go with the family of sequences. How do we, I'm going to tell you once, express one, and again a similar Tirmanam, and I'm going to play in one full lot. Okay? Dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, dhimi, tata, dhimi, taka, dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, tagadigu, 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 dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, dhimi, tata, dhimi, taka, dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, tagadigu, 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 dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dimmi, dimmi, taka, dimmi, tak, dimmi, dimmi, tata, dimmi, taka, dimmi, dimmi, taka, dimmi, tak, dimmi, taka, dimmi, dimmi, taka, dimmi, tak, dimmi, dimmi, taka, dimmi, taka, dimmi, dimmi, taka, dimmi, taka, dimmi, taka, dimmi, taka, dimmi, taka, dimmi, dimmi, taka, dimmi, dimmi, taka, dimmi, taka, dimmi, taka, dimmi, dimmi, taka, dimmi, tak, dimmi, taka, dimmi, That's how you should gracefully take the phrase, take it till the end, and play the crescendo. That's how this sequence has to be played. As I told you, the rule of thumb, if you're not getting this speed, reduce the speed. Reduce the thala cycle speed as well. Dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, dhimi, tata, dhimi, tak, dhimi, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, dhimi, taka, takutiku, 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 dhimi. I want you to express in this speed. It's not easy. Telling it fast is easy. Telling it slow is very, very tough. You should get the clarity that every phrase, every syllable in that phrase should be pronounced right. Takutiku taka, takutiku taka, takutiku dim. Takutiku taka, takutiku taka, takutiku dim. Takutiku taka, takutiku taka, takutiku dim. When you express it slow, it should have that firmness. It should have that clarity. And only when you have all those, the whole sequence becomes poetic, musical, mathematical. So I want you to do this way. The next sequence I'm going to handle, because this class is very easy. That's why I know I'm going to covering the next sequence also. I'm going to handle the sequence 3, which is takadhimi tatadhimi sequence. Let us do the relation of how it's evolved, how the adaptation is going to happen. In 8-beat cycle, takadhimi tatadhimi, takadhimi tatadhimi, takadhimi tatadhimi, kedatak, kedataka, kedatak, kedataka. You told 3 times takadhimi tatadhimi, kedatak, kedataka, kedatak, kedataka. So 6 plus 2, 8 beats. In Rupaka Thalam, let's look at it. Takadhim, takadhimi, tatadhimi, takadhimi, tatadhimi, kedatak, kedataka, kedatak, kedataka. You said 2 times and then you played a phrase of 2 beats. So 2 times into 2 beats is 4 plus 2, 6, which fitted perfectly in a 3 beats because 6 is divisible by 3. In 10, 5 is an odd number. So you have to go for a multiple of 5. What is the closest multiple of 5? Which is 10. 10 means what you have to do, takadhimi tatadhimi 2 into 4 times you have to repeat, and the last 5th time you have to play the phrase. Let's look at it granularly in Kanda Chapu Thalam. Takadhimi tatadhimi, takadhimi tatadhimi, takadhimi tatadhimi, takadhimi tatadhimi, kedatak, kedataka, kedatak, kedataka. So 4 times takadhimi tatadhimi is the logic here, adaptation, and then the phrase. That's the only change. 3 times phrase Adi Talam, 2 times phrase Rupaka Thalam, 4 times phrase is Kanda Chapu Thalam. So hope you are very clear. In Misra Chapu, how did we handle? We increased one tatadhimi, takadhimi, tatadhimi, tatadhimi to make it 3, and then the remaining part of 4 we equated to the Adi Thalam. That's how the relation you have to build, you have to understand. So when you can understand this relation, your learning is better. This interactive learning, when it comes to, then your learning and understanding becomes better. When you learn independently a specific thing, you will not progress. You have to be relational. Only when you're relational, your growth is exponential. Otherwise, it will be very, very step by step. So I want you to have an exponential growth when you are learning an art. This is also going to improve your abilities in your education, for sure, because you're going to relate everything. This again, I want to tell you a story now. Ichi ni sa yo go roku hachi kyuju. That is this German, the Japanese syllable. A person taught, I will handle somewhere, I'll tell the story sometime next class. How relational ichi is scratching, no, ni is your knee, san is the sun. When you have to learn a particular different language, when you relate something to it, it's easier for you to get that language. So even music language is something like that. It's very relational. Only when you relate it, a person was able to tell 1 to 99 in Japanese language in 10 minutes. He learned in 10 minutes. It's amazing, isn't it? I think it's the concept, underlying concept is relational learning. You always have to relate. So that's what exactly I'm doing here. doing a relation. So takadimi tathadimi sequence, I've got into so much of story, but you're going to get a good base for sure. I've diverted from the subject, but it's going to give you a good base of how you have to learn a specific art. So takadimi tathadimi, 4 times the phrase, you have to repeat it. Should be a logic for your reduction. So since 5 is an odd, so you have to divide a 10 into a 4 and a 6. Or you can divide it as a 6 and a 4. It can. So that let's do with the 4 and a 6 reduction, which means takadimi tathadimi kedatak kedataka kedatak kedataka. That is the first 4 beat. The second time when you do takadimi tathadimi takadimi tathadimi kedatak kedataka kedatak kedataka. So the reduction part becomes a 4 and a 6 beat into a 10 beat cycle. So you reduce 2 times, like a 4 part and the 6 part, and then you then play the Thirmanam, which is the final. What is the let's handle that. This is a granular view of a 5 beat cycle, but you are learning Kanda Chapu Thalam, which is a 2.5 beat cycle. You need to practice in that cycle. That is the Thirmanam. So I'm going to go in a full go. I've told you the relation. So all I'm going to do 4 times takadimi tathadimi, the phrase. Each paragraph I'm going to play 2 times. And I'm going to reduce in the format of a 4 beat and a 6 beat cycle 2 times, and I'm going to play the Thirmanam. I'm going to conclude it. That will be the full essay of Takadimi Tathadimi sequence, which is sequence 3. Version of Takadimi Tathadimi sequence in Kanda Chapu Thalam. You have to express it. I'm going to express one particular example in this sequence, and you have to do it for all the other 4 sequences as a lesson, and I will do a review with you whether you have understood it right. Takadimi tathadimi takadimi tathadimi takadimi tathadimi takadimi tathadimi talangde kedataka takadari takadimi tathadimi takadimi tathadimi takadimi tathadimi takadimi tathadimi talangde kedataka takadari takadimi tathadimi talangde kedataka takadari takadimi tathadimi takadimi talangde kedataka takadari takadimi tathadimi talangde kedataka takadimi tathadimi takadimi tathadimi talangde kedataka takadari This is a very clear, expressive, with no ambiguity, accurate way of expressing this vanilla form. I want you to do for all the lessons in this sequence as well the earlier sequence. Dhimi dhimi taka dhimi taka. There are three members in the family. I told you how to reduce, how to play about it. I've demonstrated to you in the class. So you practice for each of the phrase in the similar way and then rehearse number of times. The more number of times you do, it's better. Rule of thumb. More number of times you express, it's better. The more number of times you play in the slow speed, it's better. End of the day, get the clarity. Then you are on for going, learning more. I'll see you in the next class. I'll conclude this class with the Tirukkural. Kadam காத்து கற்று அடங்கள் ஆற்றுவான் செவ்வி அறம் பார்க்கும் ஆற்றின் நுழைந்து. What is the meaning of it? சினத்தை காத்து கல்வி கற்று அடங்கி வாழும் சிறப்பை பெற்றுள்ளவனை அறம் அவன் வழியில் சென்று காத்திருக்கும். What does it mean? A person who can control his anger, a person who is very good in his education, if the wisdom or a good acts will enter his life profusely and it's going to help him. All the wisdoms and all the good things in life is going to happen. A person who has this control over the language, and that's what Thirulur says. With this, I'm ending this class, or we are signing off. See you in the next class on the new sequence number 4, Dhim Tha Dhimmi Dhinaka. That is an approach of adaptability. So I'm only telling the vanilla part. I'm going to cover deeper how to adapt that sequence from Adi Talam to Rupaka Talam to Kanda Chapu Thalam. We'll see in a relational way for your better understanding. Cheers. Signing off.